Welcome to Earplay Escape. You can now support me by joining my Patreon account and also gaining access to the full audiobooks. The link is on the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Fantasy Villain, Seizing Destiny and Dominating Heavens, Episode 11. Not long after Lin Zi'ang returned home, he saw Asan walking quickly. Young master, the Grand Madam is here. Huh? What does the Grand Madam come to do? Did this old woman know about me using her as a gun? The little man doesn't know, but the big lady has already arrived outside the door, and it was the guards who came to inform the little man. Let her in. Yes. After a while, a graceful woman walked in. Lin Zi'ang and others performed the ceremony at the right time. I've seen the Grand Madam. Seeing the situation, Chen nodded with satisfaction. Before marrying Lin Qing, the head of the Lin family, Chen was a miss of the Chen family, who had been pampered since childhood and was particularly concerned about these etiquettes. Obviously, the performance of Lin Zi'ang and others was exactly what Chen wanted to see. Well, Zi'ang, you don't have to stick to these customs, no matter what, we are all family. Hearing this, Lin Zi'ang was speechless in his heart. If this fat woman really didn't care, what kind of ghost was that not of care? What hypocrisy? Madam said with a smile, Zi'ang is not a child who does not understand anything. There should still be a gift, even if my grandfather is a great elder, he is not exempt from vulgarity. Chen smiled. Zi'ang is worthy of being the grandson of the great elder. That is, he knows more etiquette than the bastards who come out of the field. Hearing this, Lin Zi'ang's eyes turned. Insinuation, it seems that this woman is talking about Lin Fan, that guy. Thinking of this, Lin Zi'ang suddenly felt profitable. 9 of the 10 sentences he said to Lin Fan's boy were false, and if one day, Lin Fan confronted the Grand Madam, I was afraid that his lies would be vulnerable. So just let these two people die to the end, as long as I don't bother myself. Reading this, Lin Zi'ang smiled lightly at Chen. It seems that the Grand Madam still has a lot of complaints about Lin Fan. Huh, Chen smiled. Zi'ang has grown up, and it seems that he has not been taught by the great elder in his daily life. What Madam said was that Grandpa had high hopes for me, and Grandpa also told me about some things in the family, but I was a little uncomfortable to hear. When Chen heard this, her heart was suddenly shocked. Did this boy know his intention to tell him to bully Lin Fan? Haha, Zi'ang is also the grandson of the great elder after all, and the Lin family in the future is indispensable to you, and the great elder is also doing this for the sake of our Lin family. Listening to the conversation between the two, Asan on the side was also quite surprised in his heart. How did the young master change so much in the past 2 days? He was not at all like the stupid boy in his memory. Was it that the young master was in disguise all these years? Thinking of this, Asan couldn't help but shiver. The young master's hiding is really deep. Lin Zi'ang saw Asan's strange appearance and frowned slightly. Asan, you go down, go to the door and guard. If anyone comes, remember to inform in advance. Where did Asan dare to disagree? He hurriedly bowed down. Yes, young master. After Asan went out, Chen opened her mouth at the right time. Zi'ang, this is? Lin Zi'ang laughed. Madam, Asan is inconvenient to say something. What? Look at you like this. If I hadn't left the beards outside, you would have had to call them out as well. Oh, let's get it straight. Lin Fan. Hearing this, Chen quickly frowned. What do you know? Madam instructed me a long time ago to always bully Lin Fan that waste, and I Lin Zi'ang is not a stupid person. For such a long time, I have known your purpose, madam. So what? Madam wants to cut the grass and remove the roots to pave the way for brother Lin Xiao. This idea Zi'ang understands, but madam has not forgotten, Lin Fan is no longer good, that is also the son of the patriarch. What do you mean? Lin Fan's talent is back. Madam, you have to be careful. What? Chen was shocked. Are you sure? Lin Zi'ang nodded. I'm sure that he is no longer a cultivator of the refining body, and looking at his breath yesterday, he can obviously cultivate already. No wonder Yagui said that this boy came back so quickly yesterday. It turned out that he had discovered Lin Fan's strange appearance. Reading this, Chen had already believed in her heart for 7 or 8 minutes. According to your meaning, is it the patriarch's reason? This was what Chen really cared about. If it was really Lin Qing who helped Lin Fan recover, didn't he mean that he had always paid attention to Lin Fan? In this way, his plan to get rid of Lin Fan was a bit difficult. Seeing Chen thoughts, Lin Zi'ang smiled in his heart and said bluntly, exactly. Madam's abacus seems to be coming to naught. Ahem. Things were developing in the worst direction in her heart, and Chen was immediately a little angry. I didn't expect Lin Qing to take such care of this bastard. Didn't he know that he was the mother of the family? There is also Lin Zi'ang, this guy. It must be the old guy behind him who reminded this boy. Since the great elder has let you get out, I won't say anything more. Farewell. Madam is gone? Gone. Lin Fan is afraid that he knows madam's malice toward him. Isn't madam afraid? Scared? Chen said coldly. If I hadn't let him live for 3 years, would he still be in this Lin family? Do you really think that with Lin Cheng's help, I can't deal with him? It's ridiculous. Episode 12. The Lin family is in a luxurious compound. Chen returned angrily. At this time, he was sitting on a wicker chair, and a few squirrels next to him were lovingly shaking a cool fan for him. Mother, are you looking for me? A young man pushed the door in, dressed in a white robe, with a large body and a square face. It looks like a decent look, but there is a hint of fierceness between the eyebrows. Shower, here you are. Chen Ling looked at Lin Xiao, her eyes filled with joy and satisfaction, and the image of the indignant person just now judged the two of them. What made my mother angry? I just heard at the door. Huh? Not because of that Lin Fan. Chen Ling was satisfied with her son, and naturally, she was willing to tell him about her troubles. Lin Fan? Hadn't he already been reduced to a waste man? Listening to the other clan disciples, Lin Fan's current cultivation has regressed to the level of refining the body, and I don't want it long before this boy will be completely abolished. Yes, Chen Ling sighed. It's a pity that this was before. Hearing this, Lin Xiao said with some confusion. Mother means, is Lin Fan's boy now back to cultivation? Chen Ling nodded. Almost. I just went to find Lin Zi'ang, and according to him, Lin Fan has now regained his former talents, and as for what kind of cultivation he is now, I don't know. Lin Zi'ang? This boy was also well learned now, and as soon as he saw that Lin Fan's talent had returned, he didn't offend him anymore. I have to say that it must have been ordered by the old guy of the Great Elder. For his mother's guess, Lin Xiao also nodded in agreement. Lin Zi'ang's talent is mediocre, and for so long, it is only the 10 realms of refining body. Now that Lin Fan's talent has returned, it is only a matter of time before he wants to catch up with him. Lin Zi'ang has always been a bullying fool, and naturally he will not offend Lin Fan again. Moreover, there is a Great Elder standing behind Lin Zi'ang, and we can't use him anymore. Chen Ling heard her son's analysis and nodded repeatedly. What Xiao Er said was before the Great Elder didn't care about these things. Now as soon as Lin Fan's talent returned, that old guy immediately let his grandson get out. I think the old guy who plotted before me must have known. What an old fox. Lin Xiao said lightly. Mother, the Great Elder will not interfere in these things. There is no need to worry about this. Chen Ling's jaw dropped slightly. I know this too, but I'm not worried about the Great Elder. But Lin Qing, father? Lin Xiao frowned. Didn't he already ignore Lin Fan's boy? Ahem. It's all his disguise. Chen Ling airway. I only learned from Lin Zi'ang's mouth today that Lin Qing had been looking for elixirs to restore his talent for Lin Fan's little bastard. This time Lin Fan's talent was restored, and it is the credit of your father. Lin Xiao frowned. No wonder the Great Elder let Lin Zi'ang get rid of that guy. As an elder, he must have known about his father's actions. That's why I'm angry, Chen Ling said fiercely. In the past 3 years, Lin Qing has pretended to sever ties with Lin Fan, probably in order to protect that little bastard. Shower, your father really values that Lin Fan. Doesn't he know that I am the right wife that Ming Media is marrying, and you are the young lord of the Lin family? I think that when he was Na Lin Fan's mother as a concubine, I strongly opposed it. A lady can be my Lin family's wife. How do you say outsiders should treat us? I'm so confused. I shouldn't have let that woman marry her alive in the first place. Listening to his mother's grumbling words, Lin Zhao's heart also suddenly arose a wave of resentment. Thinking that Lin Fan was a son of a young man, but he was called a genius of the Lin family, enjoying the respect of the clan, there were faint signs of respecting him as the next young lord of the Lin family, which made him a concubine who was also resentful in his heart. Why? Obviously, he Lin Xiao was the authentic Lin family young lord. Fortunately, Lin Fan suddenly lost all his talent, and his cultivation did not rise, but fell, and he was completely reduced to a waste. To tell the truth, when Lin Xiao confirmed that this news was correct, his heart was also relieved. Now hearing that Lin Fan's talent had returned, Lin Zhao's heart couldn't help but be vigilant. At the same time, for his father Lin Qing, Lin Xiao also resented. You know, you are the real young lord. Why did his father care for him so much less than Lin Fan? Thinking that Lin Qing could bring back Lin Fan's cultivation talent that had disappeared for 3 years, it must have paid a very high price. Lin Xiao had never enjoyed such treatment on Lin Qing. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao said sharply, Mother, I will never allow Lin Fan's little boy to continue to grow up peacefully. His father's love for him is too much. Obviously I am the young lord of the Lin family. Chen Ling saw the fierce color on her son's face, and her heart couldn't help but feel painful. Shower rest assured, for the mother will not let Lin Fan's bastard get better. Your father alone, it's not easy to keep Lin Fan. Although I am married, I am still a young lady of the Chen family. I believe your uncle will help us both. Hearing this, Lin Zhao's face eased up slightly. Mother, I was overbearing. I am now in the 6th realm of practicing qi, and I will soon reach the 7th realm of practicing qi. Even if Lin Fan's talent returns, I am sure to let him fall. Seeing the situation, Chen Ling couldn't help but laugh. Good and good. This is my unicorn. Shower, although you can rest assured of cultivation, this Lin family, your mother will definitely help you pave the way. Well, Shower knows. Episode 13. Here, Lin Zi'ang had just sent off the Grand Madam when he saw Ah San running over excitedly. Young master, the Great Elder has returned. Hearing this, Lin Zi'ang was shocked. So fast, didn't he say that there were still a few days? After he calmed down a little, Lin Zi'ang said lightly, now that Grandpa is back, I'll go see him. Inside the courtyard, Lin Zi'ang sat calmly on a Taisher chair, and on the rattan chair next to him sat an old man with a long beard. Looking at the grandson of Lang Dang in front of him, Lin Jin said with some anger and amusement, you little boy, you still like to occupy my old master's chair. What's this? Lin Zi'ang's face didn't matter. Anyway, your old man is a monk of the Spirit Sea realm, and his body and bones are very good, so naturally, I don't have to give you a seat. According to the attitude of this guy to Lin Zi'ang in his memory, Lin Zi'ang copied it in a serious way. Ha ha ha. You little boy, I haven't seen you in a few days, do you miss Grandpa? Nothing, Lin Zi'ang was very sure. Just crossed over, there was an old man who loved him very much, and Lin Zi'ang was still a little difficult to adapt to in his heart. Stinky boy. Find a fight. After hearing his grandson's words, Lin Zi'ang only felt that his heart was cold. Thinking that since the unexpected death of this boy's parents, he pulled him up with a handful of urine, Lin Zi'ang suddenly felt the need to let Lin Zi'ang know how great his grandfather really was. So, alas. Zi'ang. Do you know how nice Grandpa is to you? Without waiting for Lin Zi'ang to reply, Lin Zi'ang said to himself. In the summer when your boy was 3 years old, he said that the weather was too hot and wanted some air conditioning. Grandpa and I had to search the whole stone city, and finally found a monk with ice attribute aura, and let him deliver air conditioning for you for a whole month. With that said, Lin Zi'ang remembered. If his memory was not wrong, it seemed that the person was also a monk who was about to advance to the spirit sea realm. Because of the characteristics of its own aura attributes, it is well known in the whole stone city. As a result, he was found by his grandfather, and after being beaten up, he circled around Lin Zi'ang, who was only 3 years old at the time, for a whole month. It wasn't until it was autumn that the man was able to get out. I heard that since then, the man has not appeared in Stone City. Needless to say, Lin Zi'ang also knew the reason for this. Thinking of this, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but look at his own old man with some helplessness. What a head iron. Grandfather, here, Lin Zi'ang was still talking to himself. But it's not just that. Do you remember that in the past, in order to assist your cultivation, old master, no matter what kind of spirit herb elixir or elixir I gave to your boy to use, alas. But your body is like a bottomless pit, no matter how many cultivation resources you are given, they are not enough, and your cultivation is not long. I was so angry that I almost didn't steal the only Xiandan in the family to your boy. What a pity. Finally, it was discovered by Lin Cheng's boy. Ahem. If it weren't for the fact that this boy was the patriarch, where would he stop me? Speaking of this, Lin Zi'ang put on an angry look. You old man can get it. Lin Zi'ang flipped through the memories in his mind, both speechless and grateful. At the beginning, for this matter, the family almost did not abolish the position of the eldest elder of their own old master. After all, that Xiandan was a sacred relic in the family, and the things left for the family to protect their lives could not be privately possessed by anyone. Only when someone in the clan had cultivated to the peak of the spirit sea realm would they consider whether to use this dan to break into the soul bridge realm. It can be seen from this that this Xiandan is important to the entire Lin family. And you boy was, in the first place, got it. Don't say it again. Seeing Lin Zi'ang's posture of going to continue to speak, Lin Zi'ang hurried to stop it. It seems that this old man's nagging problem cannot be changed, no matter where it is. For the sake of his own ears, Lin Zi'ang decisively chose to surrender. How to say, but you remember Grandpa well? Lin Zi'ang looked proud. Remember. Man, you've been so nice to me. Grandchildren think of you these days too tightly. As far as your cultivation method from a young age is concerned, even if I crossed over, I still remember it. Sure enough, it is the villain's backer. Haha. Just think of it. Lin Zi'ang laughed. How's it going? These days, without Grandpa I guide your cultivation. Can your boy's cultivation progress? Yes. Saying it scares you to death. Oh, it doesn't matter if you don't grow. Thinking of his grandson's talent of pulling crotch, Lin Zi'ang obviously did not believe Lin Zi'ang's answer. You are my grandson Lin Zi'ang, looking at the whole Lin family, who dares to laugh at you, see Lao Tzu does not flatten him. Lin Zi'ang's eyes widened. Cough cough. What does stinky boy mean? Lin Zi'ang saw Lin Zi'ang's wide eyes and immediately felt that he was not trusted. Grandpa, I am the peak of the spirit sea realm, standing on the tip of the whole stone city. It's awesome. Lin Zi'ang made a somewhat perfunctory remark. That's it. Hearing the ordinary admiration of his grandson, Lin Zi'ang seemed to be very generally used, and even his head was raised. If nothing else, this grandpa is quite interesting. Looking at the old man's performance like an old naughty boy, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but slightly raise the corners of his mouth. Episode 14. However, Grandpa, I said that my cultivation has grown, but I didn't lie to you about the old man. Really? Lin Zi'ang threw off a big long nasal tone, and the eyes that looked at Lin Zi'ang were full of doubt. It's true, Lin Zi'ang said with a bitter smile. In fact, the grandson's talent is not bad, and the previous unbearable is just the grandchild's disguise. Can you be a stupid bad boy and still have this kind of cunning? Obviously, for Lin Zi'ang's words, Lin Zi'ang's heart was 10,000 unbelieving. You said that about your grandson. So old man, how on earth are you going to believe that what I'm saying is true? Hearing this, Lin Zi'ang stroked his long hair and pretended to be thinking, and slowly opened his mouth. Your boy, let me take a good look at the cultivation, and if I can make the old man shine in front of my eyes, I will believe what your boy said. Good. At the end of the conversation, Lin Zi'ang suddenly released a part of the momentum that he had hidden. Not much, just a soul. However, the shock brought to Lin Zi'ang was quite a lot. Lin Zi'ang, who had just been leisurely wandering and watching the play, when he felt the momentum released by Lin Zi'ang, his eyes suddenly stared like a brass bell. Yun, the spirit realm? It seems that he was so frightened that he could not even speak. In the face of Lin Zhang's inquiry, Lin Zi'ang nodded faintly. You stinky boy really entered the spirit realm? Seeing that Lin Zi'ang did not speak, Lin Zhang suddenly stepped forward, excitedly grabbed his arm, and asked eagerly, really, didn't you see it all? After hearing Lin Zi'ang's words, Lin Zhang's old face turned red with a hint of hiss. Really, really? There's nothing wrong with the breath. My grandson is really a spiritual realm. Ha 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 ha. God, open your eyes. I didn't expect that Lin Zhang could still have such an outstanding heir. Seeing Lin Zhang's rapidly rising blood pressure, Lin Zi'ang was really afraid that his grandfather would be excited to death. Old man, as for being so excited, isn't it just a spirit realm? You old gangster is also a person at the peak of the spirit sea realm. There is no need. Farts don't need to. What do you kid know? Looking at Lin Zi'ang's indifferent look, Lin Zhang was funny and angry. You are only 17 years old, you have already entered the spiritual realm, and your future achievements are unlimited. Isn't this significant? Isn't this very normal? Since I felt that my cultivation speed had increased a year ago, the breakthrough of the realm had become incomparably simple, and breaking through a mere spiritual realm was really not a particularly difficult problem. So your boy's talent was suddenly awakened a year ago? Yes. Lin Zi'ang nodded. That's a good reason. Ha ha ha, thick accumulation of hair. Grandpa, I'm sure your boy's talent now far exceeds that of Lin Fan before. You are the Lin family's well-deserved first person to cultivate, Lin Zi'ang said with a hint of disdain. Just a Lin family, the grandchildren really can't look at it. Grandpa, you don't want to compare me with the people of the Lin family in the future. Hearing this, Lin Zhang couldn't help but be stunned. Immediately, as if thinking of something, Lin Zhang asked with some curiosity, is that why you've been hiding this year? Lin Zi'ang slightly lowered his jaw. Haha, you boy can. The so-called Mu show you Lin, the wind will destroy it, before it does not grow up completely. Knowing how to hide your edge is a very correct choice. Grandpa, I still support you, but what? Lin Zi raised his head and asked. Collapse. A big brainstorm. Hiss. Lin Zi'ang only felt a sharp pain coming from his brain, and he quickly covered his head and shouted at the old man in front of him. It hurts. Old man, you don't talk about martial arts, play sneak attack. Ahem. Lin Zhang put away his hand. Your boy has been hiding in front of me as a grandfather for so long. What does it mean? It shows that you don't trust Grandpa. Shouldn't I beat you? I'm not afraid that your old man will leak his mouth, and I'm not telling you now, where there is no trust in you. Ahem. You boy said kindly, can I sit in the position of the Lin family elder, like that kind of brainless mangy man? Lin Zhang obviously did not eat this set. And it's been a year for your boy to tell me. How come I didn't find out that your boy still has this breath-holding kung fu? Hearing this, Lin Zi'ang was speechless in his heart. Do I have to be glad that I only said it for 1 year? If I said it for 3 or 4 years, I am afraid that this old man will reward him with a few more collapses. No matter what, I'm always right to be careful. That's right. Lin Zhang nodded in agreement. But cultivation focuses on resources, and if you had told Grandpa earlier, I would have been able to take advantage of this clan to give your boy a lot of resources. It's too late now, the preparations for the clan are already done, and Grandpa, I can't take this opportunity to give your little boy a wool. I see. After listening to Lin Zhang's words, Lin Zi'ang was relieved, and at the same time, his heart was also a little moved. This Lin Zhang's kindness to him was really meticulous. Episode 15. No problem, the resources of the Lin family are dispensable to me, and Grandpa, you don't have to worry about it. Lin Zhang looked at Lin Zi'ang, seemed to think of something, and couldn't help but sigh. I see, you boy has such a talent, Stone City is still too small for you. Lin Zi'ang nodded in agreement. Since I have such a cultivation talent, if I still live in a projectile place like Stone City, wouldn't I have lost it? Yes. Zi'ang, you have such a talent, you will definitely go further than Grandpa and I in the future. Stone City can't keep you. Lin Zi'ang laughed. Isn't that normal? I'm a genius. Looking at Lin Zi'ang's proud look, Lin Zhang couldn't help but laugh and scold. You stinky boy. So, this time the Lin family's clan will not participate than yours. Of course not. You see what I'm practicing now. If I still go to participate in the clan competition, do you think someone will be my opponent? Lin Zhang nodded in agreement. Although every time I see Lin Zhao's proud look, I am a little upset, but since Zi'ang you don't want to expose your cultivation behavior, then Grandpa I am not reluctant. By the way, old master, what is Lin Zhao's cultivation now? It's almost time to practice G7-fold. Listen to what Lin Qing said. It seems that besides me, Lin Zhao should be the highest among the younger generation of the Lin family. Yes, it's a pity. If Lin Fan's boy hadn't been abolished, I'm afraid he would be able to compete with Lin Zhao's boy now. Seeing that Lin Zhang had mentioned Lin Fan, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but ask. Lin Fan is also Lin Qing's son. Why, since Lin Fan lost his talent, Lin Qing didn't pay any attention to him, and let me bully him for so long. Haha, speaking of this, Grandpa, I'm a little funny. Seeing the smile in the old man's eyes, Lin Zi'ang had some doubts. Why? Your boy is quite vengeful. Lin Fan's boy is like this, and you still bully him every day. Even if your cultivation has already dumped Lin Fan's boy so far now, you still haven't let go of that boy. You say, you don't remember what revenge is? But this is also good, according to your boy's personality of liking to play a pig and eat a tiger. I don't think anyone outside can bully you in the future. This. Can I say that it was all a misunderstanding? The person who really remembers the revenge is the original stupid boy. How can I possibly take revenge? If people offend me, isn't it normal to pick skin cramps? Where can this be said to be revenge? Well, it must not be. Cough, old man, I'm talking about the patriarch. Lin Zi'ang smiled and looked at Lin Zi'ang. The patriarch also knows that your boy has a vendetta. The small actions of the original emotional body to Lin Fan in recent years have been looked at in the eyes. Then you didn't remind me before. In case I get heavy on my hands and Lin Fan's life is in danger, the patriarch is not allowed to do anything to me. What's there to worry about? Lin Qing and I are all watching. Do you think that the actions of the Grand Madam did not attract our attention, but for the sake of family harmony, we chose to turn a blind eye? Anyway, Lin Fan has been completely abolished, as a shoe out. As long as he is allowed to live, Lin Cheng's father is not a special failure. This kind of thing is very normal in the entire cultivation world. After all, this is a world where the weak eat the strong. There are still many things that your boy has to learn, and while your boy hasn't gone out to run around yet, I have to give you a good makeup lesson. The old man's words really shocked Lin Zi'ang a lot. Sure enough, there are still many secrets behind this. If it weren't for the fact that I showed my super talent and cultivation today, I'm afraid that my own grandfather wouldn't have told me about these things. Sure enough, in such a cultivation world, strength is the basis of a person's true foothold. Old master, you said that if Lin Fan's talent came back, you said that the patriarch knew what would happen. Talent back? Lin Zi'ang nodded. Lin Jin thought about it for a moment and slowly opened his mouth. If Lin Fan's talent really returns, Lin Qing will probably reconsider the issue of the Lin family heir. After all, Lin Zhao's character is not suitable for sitting in the position of the head of the Lin family. Isn't he afraid that Lin Fan won't recognize him as a father? Oh, this point is left to Lin Qing to worry about. After all, this is a family affair. Obviously, for this kind of trouble, Lin Jin chose to watch the play. Lin Zi'ang thought about it in his heart and found that the lies he had compiled were still not easy to be punctured. As far as Lin Fan's boy's personality is concerned, I may have hated Lin Qing in my heart, and the protagonist's fate is very normal. Old man, when will this clan competition start? After a month, it is most likely the same as before, or Lin Zhao's boy will come out on top. The grandson of the second elder Lin who is second, and the granddaughter of the third elder, Lin Ying, is third, nothing to see. Looking at Lin Jin's indifferent look, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but smile. Maybe there will be some accidents this time. Lin Jin glanced at his grandson, like a little fox. I'm going to take a good look at Grandpa. Episode 16. A month is fleeting. In the remote courtyard where Lin Fan was located, a momentum that had been suppressed for a long time suddenly erupted. Immediately, Lin Fan's slightly hoarse voice sounded. After a whole month of ascetic cultivation, I have finally returned to the original 10 realms of refining body. Unexpectedly, after these 3 years, although the cultivation has declined, my talent seems to have increased by a large margin. According to my previous cultivation talent, although I was considered a leader among my peers, it was definitely not as exaggerated as it is now. In just 1 month, I have gone from refining the body to the current refining body 10, and in this stone city, I am afraid that I will not be able to find a second person. Speaking of this, Lin Fan tried to run the aura in his body. With the flow of aura, a touch of pale red color gradually appeared on Lin Fan's body surface. From the outside, it seems to be draped in a thin red feather coat for him. Looking at this somewhat abnormal aura around him, Lin Fan couldn't help but murmur. Even my aura had become a little different, and there seemed to be a hint of burning. Could this be the special aura that the elders of the clan had said before? It seems that I still have to ask Lin Zi'ang about that guy. Thinking like this, Lin Fan couldn't help but stand up. Meanwhile, in the courtyard where Lin Zi'ang was located, he was experiencing the baptism of an aura storm. This powerful aura wave lasted for a whole hour before it slowly dissipated. Here, Ah-san and the people under him trembled through the most difficult hour of their lives. From time to time, they looked towards Lin Zi'ang's courtyard, and their eyes were filled with awe. The young master's momentum during his cultivation was really too great, and I felt that compared with the great elder, it was all too great. With the passage of time, Ah-san and the others could clearly feel that the pressure on their bodies was slowly dissipating. Thinking that all this was just a vision caused by the cultivation of his own young master, his heart had more respect for Lin Zi'ang. Inside the courtyard, Lin Zi'ang slowly opened his eyes and let out a mouthful of turbid breath from his mouth. Phew! In a month, I have finally cultivated to the peak of the spirit realm. The next step is to prepare for entering the spirit sea. As the first month he crossed over, Lin Zi'ang also worked as an otaku for a month in this mysterious world. For 30 days, Lin Zi'ang was cultivating except for sleeping. Combined with his current talent and skills, the results are also very impressive. Generally speaking, as the realm improves, the speed of cultivation of cultivators will become slower and slower. However, even though Lin Zi'ang had now reached the spirit realm, he could still feel his cultivation speed going thousands of miles by day. No, within a month of retreat, he had been promoted from the 6-fold spiritual realm to the peak of the spiritual realm. Sure enough, that's the benefit of being a Destiny 1. Think about the original body. As an ordinary person, after cultivating for so many years, it was only enough to reach the 10th level of refining the body. But since robbing Lin Fan of the opportunity of this 3-star destiny, I can say that I have taken off in situ. Thinking like this, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but get excited in his heart. He couldn't wait to meet the next destiny now. Just at this moment, the voice of the younger brother Ah-san suddenly came from the door. Young master. What? Lin Fan's boy wants to see the young master, and the others have already arrived at the door. Lin Fan? What is this guy looking for himself for? To be honest, for the one-star destiny who now has only one ordinary royal body, Lin Zi'ang is no longer particularly important. However, if he had any other chances, it would be a different matter. Call him in, and leave the rest alone. Yes. The villain knows. After hearing Lin Zi'ang's words, San gently retreated. After a while, Lin Fan pushed the door and walked in. Looking at Lin Zi'ang, who was already sitting on a rattan chair, Lin Fan suddenly felt some fear in his heart. After a month of not seeing, how did this guy's momentum change so much? Could it be that his cultivation has improved again? Thinking of this, Lin Fan immediately cleaned up a trace of pride in his heart. After all, compared with the guy in front of him who likes to play a pig and eat a tiger, he is still too weak. Your men told me it was good to just come in, so I didn't knock on the door. Hearing Lin Fan's words, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but be a little amused. When did this little protagonist become so non-committal? No problem. The so-called Three Treasures Hall is not to climb the Three Treasures Hall without incident. Are you here for something to find me? Hearing this, Lin Fan's jaw dropped. Something is wrong with my cultivation. Your cultivation is too high for me. You should know what's going on. Something's wrong with cultivation? Lin Zi'ang looked at Lin Fan carefully. Well, without the prompt of the system, it seems that this month is no chance. Except that this boy had now cultivated to the 10th level of refining the body, and the king's body gradually revealed a vision. Lin Zi'ang did not feel that Lin Fan was different from before. Episode 17. After a little thought, Lin Zi'ang decided to tell Lin Fan the truth. The reason is not his, just a whim. You want to know the special aura that you cultivated in your body? Lin Zi'ang, this guy really knew. Lin Fan secretly said in his heart. That's right, I just wanted to tell you about Reiki, but I didn't expect you to already know. What's this? Lin Zi'ang smiled. The last time I saw you, I felt it. Then do you know what's going on? Lin Zi'ang nodded. Remember when I told you before that in this world, the talent and physique of cultivators can be directly related to the speed of personal cultivation? Hearing this, Lin Fan nodded thoughtfully. Is it because of my constitution, as you mean? That's right. I see that you have only been cultivating for a month, and you have already returned to the level of 3 years ago. And I think you must also feel that your cultivation speed has been raised to a higher level. In fact, whether it is the improvement of your talent or the fiery red aura in your body, it is brought about by your physique. After listening to Lin Zi'ang's explanation, Lin Fan duly activated the cultivation of the Qingfeng technique. A fiery aura wrapped around his hand. Does the change brought about by the physique look good? Lin Zi'ang said with a light smile. Of course, your physique directly gives you a special aura, which many people want but can't get. Lin Fan bowed his head slightly, and then he was a little confused. Then why didn't I feel the presence of my own constitution before? It is easy to say that although your physique is innate, you must also meet certain conditions before you can awaken. Maybe it's because your boy is about to turn 18, and this Flame King's body has only begun to awaken. Blazing King body? Yes. Lin Zi'ang yawned. Then wave your hand. Physique is also graded. Your physique is the royal level, not bad. Looking at Lin Fan, who looked a little excited in front of him, Lin Zi'ang secretly said in his heart. If you don't already have a better one, your boy's royal body will not think about the rest, and you will have to find a way to give you a way to say anything. It turned out to be so. Thank you for your confusion, Lin Zi'ang. Lin Zi'ang's words really gave Lin Fan a lot of surprises. His heart was excited at the moment. Unexpectedly, the heavens still took care of him. Although it took a whole 3 years to waste, Lin Fan felt that he had earned it in exchange for the awakening of a royal body in exchange for these 3 years. I believe that in less than a year, he will be able to sweep through the younger generation of the Lin family. By the way, Lin Zi'ang, looking at your appearance, it seems that you are also a person with a special physique, so it is convenient to tell me, what kind of physique are you? Me? Yes. Looking at Lin Fan's eager eyes, Lin Zi'ang didn't know what kind of flower idea this boy had in mind. Sure enough, it was still too young, and the net whole thing was comparable. After secretly sighing, Lin Zi'ang said lightly, I won't say it, anyway, it's not as good as yours now. At the same time, he added in his mind, but the future is not accurate. Hearing this, Lin Fan couldn't help but feel a little happy in his heart. Although it was well disguised, the joy in the depths of this guy's eyes was still captured by Lin Zi'ang. I don't know. Lin Zi'ang playfully skimmed his lips. It seems that we have to find something for this boy to do. Reading this, Lin Zi'ang said, do you know the race? Hearing this, Lin Fan was slightly stunned, nodded his head and replied, of course I know that, but what's wrong? In a few days, the race will begin. Now that you can cultivate, why don't you go up and prove that you are no longer a waste in people's mouths? Is this okay? Why can't you? Don't think how high the cultivation behavior of the other children of the Lin family is now. And there are more people standing still. Your boy's cultivation now belongs to the forefront of the Lin family, plus you have now awakened the royal body, and your combat strength is invincible at the same level. Why can't you go up? Listening to Lin Zi'ang's words, Lin Fan's eyes flashed slightly, and he obviously had some intentions. Seeing the situation, Lin Zi'ang continued, Lin Fan, don't forget your identity and enemies. You alone will definitely not be able to fight the Grand Madam. But if you can prove your worth, the outcome is uncertain. After you reveal your talent, the Patriarch will definitely continue to care about you. After all, no matter what, you are the young master of the Lin family. So I have to say that this time the clan is a great opportunity. I see. At this point, Lin Fan obviously understood it. Thinking about the talent and strength he had now, Lin Fan's confidence in his heart was also enough. Refining the body 10 times plus the king body, it is still okay to want to take the top 10 by yourself. If this is the case, why can't you prove yourself to the Lin family through this clan comparison, according to Lin Zi'ang's words? It is also good to create a momentum for yourself. If you can get the appreciation of the elders in the clan, it will definitely be much easier to deal with the grand lady in the future. This time, I will definitely go. That's fine. The corners of Lin Zi's mouth were slightly raised, like an old father. Hey, man, this is an accident. Episode 18. On August 15th, the Lin family ratio officially began. Speaking of this Lin family's clan ratio, it was basically held once a year, and the main purpose was to test the cultivation results of the younger generation of the Lin family over the past year. Such a habit is conducive to keeping the younger generations in the family with an enterprising heart at all times, which is also one of the important reasons why the Lin family can stand in this stone city for a long time. In addition to the Lin family, the Chan and Jing families also maintained the same customs. To this day, the clan comparison of the three families does not know how many times it has been held. In Lin Zi'ang's memory, he had only participated in the clan competition 5 times anyway, and each time he hovered around 15. Among the hundreds of young people of the Lin family, he could be regarded as a leader. This time, he chose not to participate in the clan competition, which also made many people in the Lin family feel confused, but no one said anything more. After all, who called the people to be the grandsons of the great elders? However, the most surprising thing this time was not Lin Zi'ang, but Lin Fan. Since Lin Fancho's whereabouts, the full count has been full, and the absent clan ratio has been 3 times. In the eyes of everyone in the Lin family, Lin Fan had been completely abolished, and he no longer had the appearance of the second young master of the Lin family genius. Unexpectedly, after 3 years, Lin Fan actually appeared in everyone's field of vision again. For a moment, everyone in the Lin family couldn't help but feel a little curious in their hearts. Among them, there is also a snooping of the other 2 major families. This Lin Fan, why on earth should he stand up and participate in this clan competition? On the high platform, Lin Zhen and Lin Zi'ang sat opposite each other, looking faintly at the clan comparison that was taking place in the square below. Watching Lin Fan strike an ordinary clan member away, causing a burst of exclamation from the onlookers, Lin Zhen's eyes couldn't help but flash a trace of surprise. Zi'ang, is this the surprise your boy said? Well, it's Lin Fan. Lin Zi'ang glanced at Lin Fan, who was happy at the moment, and said lightly, I really didn't expect that this boy would actually resume the cultivation behavior of the original 10-fold refining body, and it seems that his combat strength is much stronger than before. Noticing Lin Fan's fiery red aura, Lin Zhen had a hint of appreciation in his eyes and then opened his mouth. Special aura, it seems that Lin Cheng's boy can't sit still. Is the patriarch going to restore Lin Fan's young master treatment? That's for sure. Lin Zhen nodded. I can say with certainty that after this clan competition, Lin Cheng will immediately ask Lin Fan to meet him. Hearing this, Lin Zi'ang shrugged indifferently. This patriarch is really snobbish enough. You boy, do you think it's so simple to be the patriarch? If people are not snobbish, how can they have their current position? Not everyone is like your grandfather and I who protect the short, and there are many heirs, so naturally they are cultivated on the basis of merit. Lin Zi'ang said with a light smile. It seems that I have to thank my parents for giving birth to me only one, otherwise I will definitely fall out of favor. You boy. For a moment, Lin Zhen couldn't help but laugh. On the field, Lin Fan passed the level all the way and finally advanced to the top 16. This time, his opponent was a descendant of a family named Lin Kai, who had the cultivation of the 12 levels of refining body. In the face of Lin Fan's suddenly killed black horse, Lin Kai's heart was very calm. Lin Fan, meet me, this time you will stop in the top 16. Ahem. Are you kidding? For Lin Kai's words, Lin Fan scoffed. Oh, Lin Fan, do you still think you were a genius 3 years ago? Now that I am already 12-fold refining, I am one step away from practicing qi, and even if you restore your original cultivation behavior, in 3 years, our gap is already very large. Speaking of which, Lin Kai also deliberately exposed his cultivation behavior, and the 12-fold momentum of the refining body instantly crushed towards Lin Fan. Feeling a trace of pressure on his body, Lin Fan couldn't help but start to resist by running the gong fa. With the operation of the aura in his body, the pressure on Lin Fan's body instantly dissipated. Compared with the momentum that Lin Zi'ang broke out at the beginning, Lin Kai's difference was far away, and he wanted me to fall down, no way. Thinking like this, Lin Fan immediately unleashed his back fist and attacked Lin Kai directly. Stubborn. In the face of Lin Fan's attack, Lin Kai did not hesitate to resist. After several rounds of confrontation between the two, Lin Fan was gradually suppressed by Lin Kai. Give up, Lin Fan. On cultivation, you are only refining the body 10 times, and I am already 12 times refining the body. Compared to the fist technique, your back fist is just a human rank product, and my Kaishan fist is a human rank middle grade. Everything you rely on is going to be weaker than me, Lin Fan. You will undoubtedly lose. Lin Kai spoke as he attacked Lin Fan. Let me give up, you dream. Feeling his own pressure, Lin Fan gritted his teeth and replied. Don't measure up to yourself. Don't blame me if you are seriously injured later. Obviously, Lin Kai was also angered by Lin Fan's stubbornness, and the shot became faster and heavier. On the stage, Lin Zhen, who was watching all this, smiled. It seems that Lin Fan this boy is about to lose. Lin Kai this boy is a good seedling in the past 2 years. Lin Fan and him still have a certain gap. Except for Lin Zi'ang, the other elders also expected the outcome of this battle after seeing Lin Fan's defeat on the field. Lin Qing, as the head of the family, couldn't help but murmur. Lin Fan is going to lose, but it's a pity. However, he is also a blockbuster this time, and it seems that this boy has some secrets. In the past 3 years, apart from Lin Zi'ang's stupid disciple, has he also had contact with other people? Otherwise, how could this cultivation suddenly come back? Not understanding, Lin Qing couldn't help but shake his head. Episode 19. Lin Zi'ang did not say anything about his grandfather's prophecy. However, looking at Lin Fan, who was almost unable to support himself, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but ask in his heart. The system, like Lin Fan is now, is there any possibility of a sudden outbreak? I mean, now as a 1-star destiny, will he suddenly turn defeat into victory because of luck? Ding. Impossible. 3-star destiny person and above will be protected by heavenly chi luck. The degree of protection depends on the level of heavenly destiny. Lin Fan as a 1-star destiny person, there is no possibility of chi luck protection. Hearing this, Lin Zi'ang nodded thoughtfully. So, when I come to the 3-star destiny, I'm afraid I will also be protected by luck. And such a rule is simply not too good for me. As long as I plunder the opportunities of these destiny people, their destiny level will inevitably fall, so that there is no undead protagonist. Ding. Congratulations to the host, successfully grasped the key role of the system. The sound of the system sounded at the right time. At the same time, below, the battle between Lin Fan and Lin Kai finally came to an end. Even though Lin Fan was in the royal body, but due to his own cultivation behavior and the practice he practiced, he was ultimately inferior to Lin Kai. In the comparison of the last round, Lin Kai found the flaw, punched on the chest, and flew out directly upside down. The referee next to him saw the situation and immediately raised his hand to signal the end of the comparison. Lin Kaixing advanced to the quarterfinals. Hearing this, Lin Fan, who had fallen to the ground, gritted his teeth unwillingly and helplessly covered his chest and went down. On the field, Lin Kai, who was standing, was also secretly relieved. I really couldn't see that although this Lin Fan only had the cultivation of the 10 refinements, his combat strength was only a little weaker than the 12 refinements of his refining body. This was still on the basis of Lin Fan's guy, who had only cultivated the martial arts of the human rank. To be honest, in the competition just now, Lin Kai played very hard. Lin Fan's aura had a hint of heat, and each blow seemed to be attached to a flame, which really caused him a lot of trouble. On the stage, looking at Lin Fan, who left the scene, Lin Zi'ang smiled faintly. In the future, this boy's troubles will be more and more. The genius of the return is not what everyone wants to see, whether it is in the Lin family or in this whole stone city. Today's scene is probably something that many people don't want to see. Therefore, before there is absolute strength, it is better not to expose it prematurely. The next battle was just as Lin Jin said. Lin Xiao came out on top, Lin Hu, the grandson of the 2nd elder, and Lin Ying, the granddaughter of the 3rd elder. It is worth mentioning that now Lin Xiao is already practicing Qi 7-fold, and among the younger generation of the Lin family, his cultivation can be said to be far ahead. When he defeated Lin Hu on the field, he also deliberately glanced at the crowd below, and his eyes only pointed to Lin Fan, who was watching the battle. This contemptuous look made the latter's heart roll with anger again. If it were not enough for cultivation, I was afraid that I would not have to go up and fight with him. For the hatred that flowed in Lin Fan's eyes, Lin Xiao naturally noticed it, and the killing intent in his heart for Lin Fan couldn't help but weigh a few points. It's just the waste of the 10 levels of refining the body. I really think that my cultivation has been restored and I can continue to run rampant in the Lin family? It's ridiculous. In just one day, the Lin family's clan comparison was completed. After all, there were not many people, most of them were a group of refining body realm tests, and it wouldn't take long. Patriarch Lin Qing stood up and said a lot of things, nothing more than some old-fashioned words of encouragement. Listening to Lin Zi'ang on the stage straight sleepy, yawning for days. It attracted one dissatisfied look after another from the latter. What does this stupid boy mean? Feelings I am a patriarch in front of your boy is not good to make or how, yawn in front of Lao Tzu's face, is not this not to give him the face of this patriarch? However, seeing Lin Jin on the side, who was also wandering in the sky, Lin Qing still had to hold back his inner dissatisfaction. The upper beam is not right and the lower beam is crooked, not a family does not enter a door, a hill of raccoons. Forget it, there are a lot of people in this clan, so I don't bother with such an ignorant youngster. Lin Qing. What do you kid do with a glimpse of Lao Tzu? Lin Jin noticed Lin Cheng's gaze and yelled at him violently. No, nothing, elder, you read it wrong. The old guy reacted so fast. Lin Cheng's heart simply wanted to cry without tears. If he couldn't beat people, Lin Qing said that he would have to find back the face he had lost here in Lin Jin over the years. The elders standing next to them were already surprised by this scene, and their eyes were empty, as if they had not seen it. As for the juniors below, let alone the adults, they are not qualified to manage. Fortunately, in addition to this small accident, Lin Cheng's summary ceremony was still well completed. After mobilizing the enthusiasm of the Lin family's disciples for cultivation once again, Lin Qing was very satisfied to announce that the clan competition was officially over. Then, go back to each house, each look for each mother. Episode 20, Why did you come over again? Looking at Lin Fan standing in front of him, Lin Zi'ang said lightly, Lin Qing has found me. Of course I know this. As soon as the clan is over, didn't he send someone to call you to the study? Seeing that his son is back to the top, he will definitely be happy as a father, and it is normal to talk to you about the past, but it has nothing to do with him, Lin Fan said coldly. In the years that I have been repairing for my whereabouts, he has ever taken care of me. Now that my talent is back, he's starting to play father-son drama with me again. Ahem. If I hadn't experienced the warmth and coldness of human feelings in the past 3 years, I might have really taken advantage of him just now. Lin Fan had a bitter and vengeful look, and his words were full of complaints about Lin Qing, and Lin Zi's eyebrows jumped up. Just from his look, you can see that the conversation between Lin Fan and Lin Qing just now must have been very unpleasant. At least it did not develop in the direction Lin Qing hoped. Lin Fan, it's useless for you to talk to me. After all, this is your own family affair, and I am an outsider. I am afraid I can't help you. I know. Lin Fan nodded. I just wanted to ask your opinion. If it were you, what would you choose to do in my current situation? Well, if I were you, I would choose to reconcile with my father. Facing Lin Fan's somewhat doubtful eyes, Lin Zi'ang continued. Don't forget that your enemy is the Grand Madam them. Whether it's cultivation or the forces behind you, you can't compare to Lin Xiao. If you give up the help of your patriarch father, you will really be alone. But. Lin Fan hesitated for a moment and slowly spoke. I don't want Lin Qing and the Grand Madam to be in the same group. I think you can rest assured of this. Lin Zi'ang smiled faintly. The eldest lady is from the Chen family, and when she married your father, her feelings were not as good as you think. Otherwise, why did your father have to take your mother as a concubine in the first place? As far as I know, this matter was quite a big deal at the beginning, and in the end it was the elders of the Lam Jing family who came forward to solve it. Hearing this, Lin Fan nodded thoughtfully, and he obviously had a certain consideration in his heart. Lin Zi'ang looked at Lin Fan, who was deeply in thought, and his heart couldn't help but mutter. Recently, this script is a little wrong. This Lin Fan and himself how to get closer and closer. And really speaking, he is now helping Lin Fan, and Lin Zi'ang's original intention is completely deviated. I just wanted to be a destiny harvester, but I wasn't going to take care of anything else. Thinking of this, thinking of Lin Fan's identity as a star destiny now, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but secretly say in his heart, System, does Lin Fan still have the opportunity to appear? Ding. As long as it is a destiny person, there will be a chance to appear, and Lin Fan, as a one-star destiny person, naturally has an uninformed opportunity. Then how can I get his wool? Don't wait for me to leave this stone city. Lin Fan's chance is late, and it will be too late by then. Ding. The system prompts you to pay more attention to the whim of the destiny. The host is now a one-star destiny, and when the opportunity comes, there will be some whim. Tip over. Got it. Lin Zi'ang instantly realized. Looking at Lin Fan, who was still entangled, Lin Zi'ang stepped forward. Well, you have plenty of time to think about it. I have a question for you. What's the problem, you say? For Lin Zi'ang, who had helped him several times, Lin Fan was still full of gratitude in his heart. If you can answer it, it can be regarded as a little reward for him. Well, have you ever wanted to do something on a whim these days? What do you want to do on a whim? Yes, it can also be said that you want to do it but have not yet done it. This guy, ask what is this for? Lin Fan couldn't help but feel a little strange in his heart, but thinking about what he planned to do, he still opened his mouth. When I compete with Lin Kai, I will only have one martial art of the human rank, and his Kaishan fist is already a martial art of the human rank. So, in my opinion, a big part of the reason for losing to him this time is because of the problem of martial arts. So I plan to go to the family scripture cabinet tomorrow to have a look and choose a few better martial arts for myself. I don't know if this counts, what you said, what you want to do on a whim. After hearing Lin Fan's words, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but feel a little excited in his heart. Scripture cabinet? I'm familiar with this plot. If there is no accident, Lin Fan's next opportunity should be in this scripture cabinet. Thinking of this, Lin Zi'ang couldn't help but open his mouth. Do you want to take one with you tomorrow? Huh? Lin Fan was a little strange. Your cultivation has already reached the realm of the spirit realm, and the martial arts in the Tibetan scripture cabinet are all some realms of refining the body and practicing qi, which are not suitable for you. And your grandfather is a great elder, so wouldn't it be better to ask him? Can I tell you that it was to shear your boy's wool? Lin Zi'ang said in his heart. You don't have to worry about it, just go for a walk. Just take one with you tomorrow. Got it. Strange guy. With a hint of doubt, Lin Fan went back